Hello and welcome back to Shelf Center. This is Bryce, and what, a book haul so soon? Yes, I know, I told you I have problems. Here we go. Anyway, we will, as always, we're going to start with the Kindle, then we're going to go to audio, and then we're going to go with the main event, and that would be the physical books, and you can get the timestamps in the description down below. I can't help myself. There's constantly either things being thrown at me or thrown at me in the form of deals I can't pass up, so it's clearly not my fault. All right, starting off with Kindle, there was a deal, of course. This is how I operate. An Ocean of Others in the Sibling Sons world, book number 1, and that would be Joshua Scott Edwards. This just looks like it's been making the way around a booktube and such, and Twitter, and it's just looking good. It's looking like a really entertaining book. Lots of fans of it so far, and of course, I'm gonna get my copy. I am completely terrible with peer pressure, okay? All right, then I already have both of these books, clearly, physically, sent by the kind authors, but then there were Kindle deals, and so now I have 2 copies of them now on Kindle for both of them. What's the guy gonna do? Good deals, and some maybe, it depends on the moment and what works best for me, whether I'm reading the physical book, which isn't always doable, so that my wife can sleep, and a Kindle, which is much nicer on the eyes, so or at least on the brightness for those sleeping. So anyway, now I have 2 copies. Yeah. And then finally, I grabbed Emergency Skin by N.K. Jemisin. This is like this kind of shorts program or something that Amazon Prime is doing. I got a bunch of big authors, like the author of The Martian that I'm blanking, of course, right now, and other big authors doing kind of these shorts. Blake Crouch is one, and you'll hear about that in a second. Because we're going into audiobooks, might as well. Part of also this series is a couple that I got on Audible, and that would be Summer Frost by Blake Crouch and The Last Conversation by Paul Tremblay. You might have heard that on my last video, TBR, that I plan to read that sooner rather than later. Honestly, mostly because it's short and will qualify under the readathon, and I'm trying to get all the points I can, okay? I'm a winner, all right? And then finally, to wrap up, I know I already actually mentioned the same book last week as a Kindle purchase, but the author was so kind to provide Audible codes. What again is the guy gonna do? I reached out, and then J.E. Hannaford delivered with an Audible version of The Skin. So again, now I have 2 copies, different copies in different formats. It just helps to have as many as you can. So really, I know all authors will agree with me that you should buy the books in all the different formats, though I do appreciate, I think it's Brandon Sanderson that said this, that he wishes that publishers would get on board with the fact that maybe if we bought the book once, we should just get it in all its forms. And maybe not audiobook, I get that one, but he at least says that for traditionally published print books and ebooks, right? That's where it does make sense. I don't feel like it's that much more to add an ebook, whereas, an audiobook performance, that is asking a lot, and that is a lot more work that goes into that. All right, then jumping into the physical books, since we have just blazed through all of the rest of the books that I have purchased here, I couldn't help myself but found these. You can just buy them almost anywhere now. It's not just specialty shops anymore, or bookshops. It's grocery stores and all kinds of things, Target and whatnot. But I grabbed Book 3 in Attack on Titan. I want to keep going with that. That's all they had. I would have bought more. Then I've been looking for these for a while on Ursi's recommendations that she was so kind to give, but 2 more, books 2 and 3 in My Hero Academia. Anyway, I want to continue on that. My kids loved book 1 as well, so it's kind of fun to have these kind of series to read together. My kids have just gotten obsessed. So my oldest loves chapter books, whatever. He's read more Brandon Sanderson than I have by now. All kinds of books. He loves them. My girls love graphic novels. They are like their just favorite thing in the history of the world, and especially manga. They are they're like One Piece fanatics. They've read way farther ahead than me. They're loving it, and I'm loving it too. So I'm just trying to keep up here is all. All right, then this was a Winnings, Rise of the Mages, Scott Drakeford, and just looks really good. Published by Tor. Really excited to read it. I've heard really good things. Somebody was mentioning this as the book that they've read recently that no one's talking about but should, and that's pretty high praise. I also found a deal at a supermarket, because that's where you can even buy Sanderson in the supermarket. Legion, I've actually read the first 2 of these, but I have not read the last one in the Legion series. This is a pretty fun series where essentially the guy has like split personalities, but each one he can kind of like become an expert on. If he opens a book on science, on theoretical physics, and then suddenly, he's already like, taken on all of those ideas and can be a professor as another kind of side of himself. So really fun concept and really cool, and used as Brandon Sanderson does, in a really cool magic system way. I realized I did not mention this one in a book haul, so I'm throwing it in, and correct me if I'm wrong. I did kind of throw it out there a couple times, but I have not actually mentioned it, and I've actually already read it. So, Fairy Tale by Stephen King, and I loved it, to be honest. Short review is, it was awesome. Finally getting I forgot to include it in my last book haul that I meant to. Really good. Absolutely like slice of life, as King does so well. I even liked the kind of fairy tale parts of it. If you saw Man Carrying Things, one of his most recent videos, which is on Stephen King and how he comes up with his ideas, and it's hilarious as usual. And I just thought, yeah, this is exactly, I won't ruin it, but anyway, this is exactly that. Just fairy tales but scary. So hopefully not too much. Anyway, really funny video. Go watch that one. All right, then P.L. Stewart, my gosh, what just a scholar and a gentleman and scholar, as some might call it. I say it backwards. But P.L. Stewart, I already read the first book in the Drowned Kingdom saga, and this is book 2, The Last of the Atlanteans. Can't wait to get into this. Seriously, P.L. Stewart is just awesome, and I love talking to him. And anyway, great stuff. Literally cannot look at, there he is. There we go. Just a great picture there. Literally just such a good guy, and I want to read all of his books because he also does a great job at writing. Then I also received Sewell, From Gold to Iron and Rust by Jay Davis and Kay Grierson. This is one of those that I don't know how I was lucky enough to get sent this by the authors, because this is just a beautiful book. I mean, first of all, you might have seen, this is one of those books that's got a built-in bookmark. I mean, how cool is that? I have it actually placed at an awesome spot with just some great artwork throughout. And you can see, not only does the beautiful book have a great jacket cover, but that is also on the actual naked hardcover itself. I can just paw through this all day. And I've pawed through it multiple times since getting it. I won't admit to all the times, okay? Really nice note in it to me. And just can't wait to read it, really. I mean, there's a Kickstarter going on right now. I believe it just reached its goal, but that doesn't mean there aren't stretch goals, and isn't that it isn't a great time to grab your copy. Seriously, just a wonderful, wonderful copy. It looks great on my shelf, and I can't wait to jump into it. Really cool, and thanks again to the authors. All right, as usual, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing, for liking, for all the comments that I still am working on getting to, but I really appreciate it. It's just, seriously, this has been such a blast, and we're just still growing and growing and growing as a channel. And it's just literally just this. It's made this so much fun to just kind of play with the algorithm, play with things, see what hits, what doesn't, but mostly to just interact with fellow fans and geek out together. It's just great. So anyway, thanks again, and we'll catch you next time. Bye. And finally, I received Gardens of the Moon. Okay, I couldn't resist. I already like put it in essentially 2 book haul videos, so why not keep going? I still love it, and I might marry it. I don't know. Can you? No, what? Well.